Namo Buddhaya, Namo Amitabha. Hello everyone. So today let's keep continuing discuss the topic of Trikaya, the three bodies of the Buddha. So in our last video we talked about the Dhammakaya, and in this video I like to talk about the Sambhogakaya. So the Sambhogakaya is also known as the reward body or the bliss body, the body of enjoyment. So why is it called the reward body? So this body is really manifested due to the Buddha's countless eons of cultivation. So it is like a reward for their perfect merit and blessings that they have accumulated throughout the countless eons of cultivation. It is a reward body which experiences the fruit of their cultivation and also the bliss of their perfect enlightenment. So it is also like the bliss body, it's the body of enjoyment. So this body is of course very different from the physical bodies that we are currently experiencing here in this world. So our physical bodies are very vulnerable. It's subject to birth, old age, sickness, and death. Whereas the reward body of the Buddha is no longer subject to the kind of birth that we're subject to here, like birth, old age, sickness, and death. There is absolutely no suffering for the reward body of the Buddha, whereas our physical bodies here experience a lot of sufferings. This is not the case with the reward body of the Buddha. The reward body is really the bliss body. It is filled with bliss. And remember when we talk about the Dhammakaya, the Dharma body of the Buddha, we said how it is really no beginning, no end, no birth, and no death. It is originally here, as it is. So it is eternal, but we don't really use the word eternal because sometimes when people think, oh, eternal means maybe there's a beginning and it becomes eternal, but it is really no beginning, no end, no birth, and no death with the Dhammakaya. Whereas with the Sambhogakaya, there is a beginning and then it is eternal. So the Sambhogakaya is manifested when the Buddha achieved a perfect merit and blessings, and the Sambhogakaya is magically transformed. So there is a beginning to that, and after that it is eternal. So the Buddhas residing in their Pure Lands with their rewards body, and we will be able to see if we nianfo and attain rebirth in Amitabha Buddha's Pure Land. So their rewards bodies are a bit like the Buddha statues that we see in some Chinese temples where they're very huge and adorned with really beautiful adornments, and they're sitting or standing on lotus. So it's a bit like that, except in reality they're much bigger, much more huge and more wonderful and more wondrous than what we could possibly imagine with our current state of mind. So in the Visualisation Sutra, the Buddha described the Sambhogakaya of Amitabha Buddha in the Sutra. So I'll quote from the Sutra. The light of Amitabha Buddha is as bright as the hundreds of thousands of trillions of jumbo gold in the Yama heaven. So jumbo gold is the highest grade of gold, and the Yama heaven is the third level of heaven in the desire realm. The height of the Buddha is like 60 trillion nayotas of Ganges sand. So nayota is a measurement, and there can be different measurements as to what nayota is. It can be like 1 million, 10 million, or 10 to the power of 28, or 10 to the power of 60. So it is a very big number. And Ganges sand, and we can't imagine how many sands in the Ganges river. So it is really uncountable. We cannot really possibly imagine the height of the Sambhogakaya of Amitabha Buddha. So it is possible that our universe, the observable universe, which is 47 billion light years, may be just like a fine mote of dust compared to the Sambhogakaya of Amitabha Buddha. Between the Buddha's eyebrows, there is a wall of white hair that curls gently to the right and is the size of 5 Mount Sumerus. A wall of white hair is a good sign of the Buddha. So the Buddha's eyes are like the four great oceans. The pores of the Buddha's body emit rays of light that are the size of Mount Sumeru. Mount Sumeru is the center of a small world according to Buddhist cosmology. And when we say small world, we don't just mean planet Earth, but it also contains other worlds. So it's the center of the small world, and it's 84,000 yojanas height above the water and 84,000 yojanas height below the water, according to the Buddhist Sutra, and it is invisible to our physical eyes. The circle of light around that Buddha's head illuminates an area as large as a trillion trichiliocosm. The trichiliocosm is the 3,000 clusters of universe, the world system in Buddhism. And within that all-encompassing light, there are hundreds of millions of nayotas of Ganges sand of transformed Buddha. For each transformed Buddha, there are also countless transformed bodhisattvas serving as attendants. The Buddha of infinite light has 84,000 features. In each of those features, there are 84,000 marks of excellence. Each of those marks sends forth 84,000 rays of light. Each ray of light illuminates all living beings who recite the Buddha's name in the words of 10 directions, never to be abandoned. So Amitabha Buddha in the Pure Land not just have 32 good signs, but rather 84,000 good signs, really infinite good signs. So no words can adequately describe the lights, the features, the marks of good signs, and the transformed Buddhas. So the Visualization Sutra also described the rewards body of Guan Yin and also Bodhisattva Mahasammaprapta. So Amitabha Buddha, Guan Yin, and Mahasammaprapta are known as the three sages of the Western Pure Land. So if you're interested in learning more about them, then you can go and read the Visualization Sutra. Although Buddhas, when they reach the perfect enlightenment, their spiritual powers and capacities are the same. They can have different Sambhogakaya and different ways to help save sentient beings due to the vows they made when they were practicing the Bodhisattva's path. So Amitabha Buddha is actually called the king of all Buddhas, and he is praised by all the Buddhas in the 10 directions, exactly due to the great vows he made in the past, and also the easy way that he created to save all the sentient beings in the 10 directions. So Amitabha Buddha's Sambhogakaya is actually greater and bigger than other Buddhas, again due to Amitabha Buddha's great vows. So this is really, really incredible. And I remember seeing somewhere like someone asked, why don't the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they just appear in their Sambhogakaya in our world, walk around the world with their Sambhogakaya so all the beings can see and we can all give rise to faith in the Buddha Dharma. So it's not like the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are hiding their Sambhogakaya, but it is really due to the different dimensions that we cannot see. For instance, it is said the ants only can experience a two-dimensional world, although they're living in a three-dimension, but due to their vision, they can only see two dimensions. So a tiny ant probably cannot see the whole of the human being, or the whole of the Empire State Building, or the whole of the mountain, Himalaya mountain, because it is so tiny. It is a bit like that. As humans, compared to the Sambhogakaya of the Buddhas, we are maybe just like the little ant or the bacterial. We are really sort of living in different dimensions from the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Although the Pure Land is here and now, the Pure Land is boundless, but we cannot see also because of different dimension. We can see if we can break the dimension. Albert Einstein also famously said, time is an illusion. So time and space are actually illusions. If we know how to break dimensions, then we can see. So it is possible through meditative concentration, and if one realizes Nyingpo Samadhi, then one will be able to see the Sambhogakaya of Amitabha Buddha in the Pure Land. So Patriarch Huiyuan, the first Patriarch Master Huiyuan, said he had seen Amitabha Buddha and the scenes of the Pure Land 4 times throughout his life. So Patriarch Huiyuan is the first patriarch of Chinese Pure Land Buddhism. And he said it's exactly as what's described in the Sutra. Amitabha Buddha is just so huge. It's like he filled in the entire universe. It's all Amitabha Buddha. So it is really beyond the comprehension of our mind. And we can see the Sambhogakaya of the Buddha if we can break the dimension now, right? If we realize Nyingpo Samadhi. Or otherwise, we will be able to see the Sambhogakaya of Amitabha Buddha when we attain rebirth in Amitabha Buddha's Pure Land in this life. And also in the Sutra, the Buddha told us that we will look the same like that of Amitabha Buddha when we go to the Pure Land. And don't worry that you will not be able to know who is whom. We will be able to know. When we go to the Pure Land, we'll all be non-regressing bodhisattvas, really highly enlightened bodhisattvas. We'll also have the spiritual powers, and we know exactly who is whom in all our past lives. So maybe if we meet in the Pure Land, we'll be chatting about our past life here on earth. So in our next video, we'll talk about the Nirmanakaya, the physical incarnation body of the Buddha. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Amitabhaya.